Okay, g'day or good night, everyone. Back for another session. A little bit of a different one tonight. I know that as a group, we've had just gone past the last race meet for the season. So things that we're going towards now would be state training practices ahead of nationals about 6 weeks away. So it's a good opportunity to just reset a little bit and take a moment to step back from some of the more slightly explosive and dynamic stuff that we do from time to go back to some strength and position based exercises. And that ties in pretty nicely with what we've been working on indoor for the past week and getting back to some drills work and some edge control work. So tonight's going to focus a little bit more on that. We're going to do a work set twice over. Once where we'll do the leg work, because every day is leg day. We'll do the leg work back to back for 5 exercises through by time. And then when we've done that, we'll go on to 3 core exercises and go back for a second run through the work set. So it's a little bit of a different format than what we'd previously been doing, where we do a leg and we break it up by a core exercise to help us recover. These ones won't be so dynamic. So they're not going to get your cardiovascular system quite so stressed out as we have in recent weeks. So we don't necessarily need the core exercises in the middle to bring us back down to a level where we can be explosive again. And you'll see that as we get into the program. So let's kick it off with a warm up. We'll go straight into jog variations, nice and easy in the small space that we have. So just easy jogging on the spot. It's just a light tap behind. Focusing on keeping our toes relaxed. And we're not using the whole bottom of our foot. We're just trying to rebound off the ball of our foot. Imagining it's that second wheel on our skates, and if we needed to almost dance on our skates, we'd be focusing on that second wheel in the frame right now and being able to just put a quick press of resistant pressure through it. I'm going to switch that to side touches now. Light touch out to the side. And of course, keeping our feet closed or square. When we use that language at training, the closed feet means that someone that's watching you come towards them from front on. You're not giving them a view of the inside of your boots or the inside of your frame. You're trying to keep your skates lined up with the viewer or with your direction of travel all the time. We're going to switch that to heel taps. So light tap on the heels out the front, still rebounding off the ball of the foot behind. Another 5 seconds. We're going to add those recovery rotations now. So take your foot through the recovery loop. Use your screen if you can, or look down to check, making sure we're trying to keep those feet closed. So they go through that recovery pattern. They don't open up. As I said, we don't show the viewer the inside of our feet. So this would be the wrong way, where I'm letting my foot open up as it pushes out. And this is with that closed foot. Keeps the recovery nice and simple. Helps us have a really easy set down that doesn't suffer when we get fatigued or suffer when we're under a lot of pressure. All right, jogging aside, we're going into a 1-leg balance now. Wake up that central nervous system. So knee is locked back. We don't have any knee break at all. Keeping our toes relaxed. We're just going to break one knee to take the free leg off the ground. Palms up, eyes closed, and trying to feel for all of that corrective work being done from the ankle down. Try and avoid clawing at the floor with our feet, with our toes. There goes me. We should be feeling those micro adjustments go on at the floor. Pressure running up and down the outside beam of your foot, if you like, across the ball of your foot, and working with heel pressure to try and keep you flat and level. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's change sides. Lock that knee back. Arms out, head up, and eyes closed for 30. So we're keeping the knee locked back, so we're not trying to recruit the knee and hip into the corrective work here. We're just getting all of those high rate, fine adjustments going on in the foot and ankle. I'm doing a better job on my left tonight than my right, clearly. Hope I didn't speak too soon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down we go. So some lateral movement now. We're going to shuffle side to side in our space. We're just going to do some repeats, left to right, and then a few following the command, going between left, right, and center. So moving over to one side of your space, and we're just going to shuffle, focusing on shoulders, hips, knees, and feet, all staying square, staying perfectly perpendicular to our direction of travel. We're not going to get too low for these first ones. We're going to shuffle and back. Doesn't matter what direction we're going or whether we're changing direction, we're keeping those feet square. I'm going to stop over on the left side. We've got 3 positions now. We've got left, center, or middle. I'm going to say the wrong thing, I'm sure. Left, middle, and right. And I just want you to follow, go through the pattern as quickly as you can with square feet and get to the finishing spot. We're going to get a little bit lower. We're going to keep our arms out to brace ourselves for the first few, and we'll put our hands on our backs for the other ones. So we're going to go right, center, right, go. Going to go left, right, center, go. Right, left, center, go. Right, we're going to switch to hands behind backs now. So we're keeping the hips rotated forward and tucked underneath. So we're staying as small as we can, nice and compact with a gentle curve through our back and a hollow in our belly. You should be able to fit an arm through there and not be pinching it between your belly and your hip flexors. So in that space, and we're going to try and be able to do that side to side, stop and start without our body fishtailing around like we're in an out of control car. So hands are behind backs. We're nice and low. We're going to go left, right, left, go. Oh, that was me not finishing on the left. Right, center, right, go. Left, center, left, go. Right, left, go. Good job. So hopefully we've kept our bodies, if we're in our uniforms, we'd have our zipper line lined up and our skates lined up, always perfectly forward, and our direction of travel always perfectly lateral to that. Okay, next exercise, lunge into twist. So we're going to step forward into our box stance position. We've got 90-degree angles all the way through the lower body. When we get down into this lunge position, keeping our body upright, we're going to twist to the left side if our left leg is back. So we're twisting away from the front leg, twisting back, pushing back. Going to lunge forward on the left, twist to your right. Correct, and push back. Onto the right, twist left, rotate back, push back, and continue. Four to go. 3, 2, 1, and done. Okay, moving on to some leg swings now. Let's get that real hip mobility, switching on the hip flexors and the backside chain at the glute. So we'll go front to back to start with, standing on your left leg and swinging that right leg, looking to keep it straight and get the maximum range through the hip. And remember, we don't necessarily get that by trying to curl up and knee up. We go straight drive and a straight drive out the back to really switch on the backside chain. Here we go. 8 each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to change legs and swing the left now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, working the sides now. With that side swing, we're really trying to open that hip range up, be able to drive it up and bring it across and keeping our body as straight as we can, really isolating the hip to do that work. So standing on the left again, we'll start with swinging the right for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And changing sides, standing on the right, swinging the left. 1, 2, 3. It's been weeks that I've been better on my left than my right. I'm looking to see these equalise shortly. 6, 7, and 8. Good job. Okay, into our inchworm exercise. If you've got a lot of space, you might be able to work this exercise in one direction continuously, but otherwise we're going to pivot and turn around. We'll work with you if you're in a small space. So with the inchworm, move to one side of our space. We're going to not hinge at the hip to do a straight bend. We're going to roll down. So tuck the chin in, roll down till we've got contact with the ground. We're going to step out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're at a reach here. We're not in a plank, we're in a reach. We're going to waddle back up. Get to the top if you're out at the end of your space. Shuffle around, out we go again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by about a hand span each time. And just really using ankle action to waddle in. Walking ideally until you got your feet between your hands. We'll turn around again for 2 more. Out we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keeping the pelvic floor switched on for a nice straight body. Waddling in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And last one. Pivoting if you're in your small space. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Feet between the hands and rolling up. Okay, going to really go for that full hip range and mobility now. We'll go from a plank to a step through. So we're going to get into a plank position when we start this. We're going to take a big step to try and get our foot up alongside the front hand. Once we get it up there, we're going to lean it out ever so slightly, and we're going to try and push out to the elbows on both arms if we can, but basically get as low as we can get and bring ourselves back up into the high plank and take that foot out, replace it, and we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, so getting yourself enough space to get the job done. Let's move out into the high plank. Pelvic floor on, nice and straight body, flat back, and we're going to step up with the right. Lean on it with the right elbow, and then we're going to press the left elbow down, follow it out with the right elbow down. Right elbow up, left up into the high plank again. Let's take it out. Go for the other side. Left step, big one up beside the hand. Lean on it with the left elbow. Press that right elbow forward and down. Left one as far as we can go. Back up with both hands to the high plank. And get that leg out and around. Once more on each side. So step up, lean in, reach out and press. Coming up again. High plank, let's get it back. Last one, big step, lean out on it, press in, and back up to the high plank. Let's get the leg back out. Good job. Coming back up, only to go back down. So we're going the scorpion twist now. If you're on a hard floor, you might want to put your mat down for this one. So we're going to be face down on the floor, lying down with a straight body. We've got our hands out in front of us and fingers just meshed under the chin or under the head. But this is the position that we're going to be lying face down on the floor and executing a lift and twist with that foot to try and touch the foot on the floor up, right up as far as we can up our body line. So getting the lay down happening, hands are out. I'm going to lift up my right leg first. So I'm going to start curling it and then roll over and reach, touch down, and bring it back, stretch out, curl, roll and reach, touch, bring it back, stretch it out. Let's continue, just continuous movement. Feel that relaxed body, driven by the leg, trying to take a nice long curl through the lower back and middle back. Keeping those elbows on the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, I'm counting repetitions here, not seconds. 1, and done. Good job. Up we get. Right, we'll go straight into our Cossack squats. If you put your soft mat out in front of you, you might want to kick that out of the way or just clear it off so you don't slip in this next exercise. So you're going to take quite a wide stance, not your strong, powerful skating stance that you might need if you're defending or you're about to throw a heavy corner or a pivot, but even wider still. And we're going to open our feet out. So set them out so there's a really steady tripod for you to stand upright on. And what we're going to do is sink into the left side while we turn to face towards the right side, stretch our arms out for balance so we can sit quite far back. So what that's going to look like from the side, got my wide brace stance, and I'm going to sit and reach as the other leg comes up, return to the top position, sit and reach to sit right back, almost over the back of the foot that I'm going towards. So here we go. We're going to make this a continuous, smooth movement. Don't take yourself so low that you lose balance. You just want to get deep into it, come back up to center and take it to the other side. Here we go. Reach and switch. Reach and switch. And switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Okay, last one's just to get the upper body in on the action. We're going to go with some small arm circles. So arms out, they're going to be level. Well, my camera's not showing me as level with my shoulder, but straight out from the shoulder. And we're going to do small rotations, going up and over, moving forward. They're not particularly big. The rotation's only, if you're looking in your camera, to sort of get over and under the shape of your own hand. Let's change direction other way. So it's a bit of a small backstroke action right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. And we're going to go big and over the top. Three, 2, 1, and reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, that's our warm-up wrapped. I just want to do a few practice arm swings in the moment because we're going to do some arm swings under a little bit of strain shortly. So let's just take a moment using your cameras, using me as a model. I'm not saying I'm the best one, but let's shoot for smooth movement between poses. And the poses that we're looking for is the frontal part of the arm swing is going to keep it not out in front of your face, whether that's a short distance or a long distance in front of the face. It's going to cross your center line and be somewhere in between the ear and the shoulder. And we're going to shoot for in here. It's not extending a long way out in front of you. You might see it in your peripheral vision, but it's not in front, short or long. It's across here. So there's your topmost position at the front. Position at the back is with the little finger at the top, and it's full extension. And if you're looking at yourself in front of the camera, you'll probably see a line between the leading forearm and the trailing extended arm. And that'll pretty much make a line up when we get into each pose. From the side, that's going to look like this. So let's just practice for a moment. We'll just do 30 seconds using the front model and 30 seconds using the side model. Here we go. Getting down in that position, hips tucked under, gentle curve in the lower back and front on. Here we go. Checking that you're coming close to hitting your lines. Use the video, use a mirror. If you're in a lit room and it's dark outside, you might only need to turn towards the window to get a mirror. And look for those alignments, forearm and extended rear arm to line up visually when we're front on. There's our 30 seconds front. So let's stand up. I'm going to turn side on so you're able to check yourself from the side. Let's get that position, tucking the hips in, compact and low, eyes up, and let's go for 30. Hands shouldn't be swinging, as I said, shouldn't be out in front of your face, whether they're close to your face or a long way out in front of you. We want them crossing the center line of the body. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right. Bit of freebie static leg work in there. So if you need to give your legs a shake out, do that. Let's take the opportunity to take a quick drink. Hopefully you have your bottle nearby. Before we move into the first of our 2 workout sets. So as I said, today's program, we're going through 5 time-based exercises that will all focus on the legs, working different planes of movement, some with a mobility component, some without, but a little bit less dynamic, a bit more repetitive, keeping the muscle tension on. So we'll work through 5 leg exercises, then move on to a break, if you like, where we're going to do 3 core exercises back to back, and then we'll go back for a second journey through that set before we finish off. With the time-based stuff, depends on how familiar you are with the exercise as to the type of speed of execution you want to go for. But because we're not doing dynamic exercises where there's an explosive phase or a jump type phase in each exercise, we want to try and keep all of our movements smooth. So to make sure that we have position and control, if all of our movements occur at the same speed, we're never rushing one because we're off balance or we're out of alignment somehow, and then slowing down others where we're compensating with another component. So if we keep all of the movements at the same speed, the parts that we find difficult, we immediately get feedback from our own bodies to make correction. And the parts that we find easier, we just got to make sure we're not trying to slow those down too much relative to the other parts of the exercise. Okay, so bottles down, and let's get ready to kick it off. Get rid of my little message here. Okay, so we're going to start out with 1 minute of one leg low circles. So that's where we're going to be down in the low skating position. We're going to try and keep our shoulders horizontal, hips horizontal all the time. The balance is going to be on one leg. We're going to push directly out. We're going to sweep across the ground, and then we're going to take it around, nice low recovery, bring it back in level, and then go again. And we're going to do 3 on one side, transfer weight, 3 on the other side. We're going to continually do that for 60 seconds for 1 set. Here we go. So let's get ourselves down low in that position. I'm going to start out with the left leg pushing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Out, sweep, recover. Out, sweep, recover. Out, sweep, recover. At 3, we're going to shift over, keeping flat and low, and go for the other side. Out, sweep, recover. Out. I think my shoes are a bit mushy for this job. Sweep, recover. Out, sweep, recover. I reckon we got probably 3 more on each side at this current rate. If you might be going at a higher rate than me, that's fine, as long as all your movements are smooth and they're all happening at the one speed. Transferring again, this will be my last 3, I reckon. And done. All right, so that's a minute of that. You might want to give your legs a little bit of a shake out. There's a good static component in there where we're isolating that resisting hold on one leg while we do 3 repetitions before we switch over. And that tends to build up a bit of lactic in the legs. So we're going to do something a little bit more dynamic coming out of that, which is our skate jacks. So of course, a jumping jack is these ones. The skating adaptation is for us to be in the skating position. And every time we return to neutral, our arms are mid-swing. So if you like, your wrists are going past your knees or passing mid-shin on the way to the next arm swing pose in the out position. This is with 2 feet squarely pointing in my direction of travel. When we come in again, arms are in the midpoint, arms are at the extended point. So we're going to switch 1, 2, 3 between those continually. We're going to keep it smooth, not keep the rate moving too fast. So coming down, it's going to be 30 seconds continuous. Here we go with the start. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Try and keep your arms moving continually as if you were skating. Make sure your legs get to the midpoint or the outer point in time with the midpoint or the end point of each arm swing. Three, 2, 1, and done. Good job. Might want to shake those out again. I'm going to make the mistake of standing up too quickly after each exercise. It's going to make me a little bit lightheaded for a moment. One of these days I'll learn to stop doing that. So our next exercise is a single leg hip hinge. It's a little bit of a variation on the gym deadlift. Takes a lot of hip control because we're balancing on one leg while we execute this exercise, trying to keep alignment through our free leg and our lower back and mid back. So the one leg hip hinge, as an example, so I'm starting out, I've got 1 free leg and 1 broken leg. So it's not a lot of knee bend, just a break to keep nice and steady on the ground. And I'm going to try and maintain a line through my upper body and through this free leg. So I'm going to slowly hinge at the hip until I'm out straight, and slowly hinge, whoop, and do a bad job, hinge back until I'm upright. I'm not going to set this foot down on the ground. So we're going to do 60 seconds continuous on each side. So once we free a leg up and we start doing that hinge movement, it's all smooth and controlled. We continuously do it on one leg for a minute, and we're going to change sides and go on the other leg. Let's set it up. I'm going to start with my right leg on the ground. 2, 1, off we go. Nice and slow and controlled. Don't rush anything. You need to control your position and balance for this whole exercise without trying to rush through periods where you feel less stable or slightly unbalanced. Remember to keep a break in that supporting leg. If we get that knee locked, we're going to be fighting to pivot our body a long way from the balance point, which will all be at the foot and ankle. "15 seconds to go. Last one. And we're going to change sides. Let's set up on the other leg. Broken knee, nice and stable on the foot. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Continuous for a minute. Isolate everything on that supporting leg. Focus on that hinge that's coming from the hip. Last one. And done. Good job. All right. Our next exercise is the step into split jump. So a little bit like our lunge to twist, we're going to start out by stepping down into the box stance, but it's a little bit pushed forward with the knee over the toe, and we're in the skating position. We're going to drive from there to drive our body into the air so that we can switch our legs while they're hanging straight below us and land in the opposing stance nice and low. We don't let our body come up while we're in the air. We keep it tucked in the skating position. Then we're going to drive back to the other leg like so. So one execution is going to look like this. We step, drive to split, and step back. Step out, drive to split, step back. Okay, and we're going to continue this one also for 1 minute. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Last 10 seconds. And done. Good job. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out. Then we're into the last of our 5. Now, one piece of equipment that you'll need, probably got something near where you are, either the couch at cushion height or a chair that you can drag in at seat height. I'm going to be hooking our back leg up on the chair. So that's me on the couch behind. I'm going to be taking a position just in front of it. I'm going to hook my outstretched toes onto there so that when I go down into the skating position, I'm totally on one leg. That back leg is just there, nice and clear in the recovery position to support your balance. It's not to take any of your weight. So from the side, I'm going to find a position where once I hook up and I get down in the skating position, my knee is suitably above my toes. I don't want to be way out front putting strain on the knee, and I don't want to be too far behind so that the pressure sits on my heel. So knee over toes, find that happy place where when you're at the bottom of the action with a parallel thigh, that's about where you're going to be. Have a look at where that is on the floor, and that's where we're going to use each foot. We're going to do 30 seconds continuous each side. We're going to continuously squat up and down with all of the body weight being taken on that front leg and the pressure sitting on and just behind the ball of my foot. So 30 seconds continuous of this, holding the skating position and keeping my hips tucked under. All right, so 30 seconds aside in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Smooth movement at the top. Remember, we don't go until the leg's locked out. Take it from a high skating position to a super low one. We don't stop at the top or the bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Change legs straight away. The same position so that you know how outstretched you're going to be at the lower portion. And let's go. Smooth and controlled. Focus on where the concentrated pressure is in your foot. Should be right about just behind the ball of your foot or at the very front of your arch. Evenly on the inside and outside of the ball of your foot. Hips tucked in, rotated underneath. Nice curve in the body. We're just smoothly raising and lowering. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Don't stand up too quick. Let's give that a quick shake out. Nice job. That's our 5 leg exercises. We're going to move into 3 back-to-back core exercises and then move once more through the program. Another time to grab a quick drink. And because we're going onto the floor, if you need to grab a towel or a mat, pull that into your space, do that now. Our first exercise is the plank. It's going to be a high plank hold position. We're going to take one knee, we're going to bring it towards one elbow, the other elbow, back to the straight elbow, and then replace it on the ground. Then do the same with the other. Up straight, across the body, extend, and straight again. Now, of course, we don't have enough length in our upper leg to reach our elbow just by bringing the knee up. So we've, of course, got to bring the knee up and then curl a little bit by tipping our pelvis underneath as much as we can. That's like taking our body and shortening it like we need to when we skate, tipping the hips in underneath. And that shortens that range and lets us get our knee right up near our elbow. So here we go. Let's put it down. This is going to be 60 seconds continuous in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So knee straight, back, across, back, straight, back, and then we switch legs. Straight, back, across, back, straight, back, and switch. I'm going to continue really smoothly, trying not to have any real stop points and not having any points where we need to rush the movement. Anything we need to rush through is something that we need to pay attention to and focus on. 20 seconds left. Time goes past pretty quickly when you're focusing on the execution of the exercise. Probably the last one. Straight, across, and straight, and back, and we're down. All right. Moving on to our back now. So let's turn that over. So the next exercise, we're going to do a single leg glute bridge. So of course, when we execute a glute bridge, we start out with our back on the floor and our knees up. We're going to try and keep our knees up, not so close that puts pressure on our forefoot. So we want to look for around 45 or just shy of 45 degrees so that we can have our forefoot slightly elevated and press into our heels to get the straight line, shoulders through the face of the hips and up to the top of the knee. Now we're going to drive up into that position. When we get there, we're going to straighten one leg in the air, like so. We're going to try and keep that straight line through both sides, not let one hip fall down or raise up. And we're not going to keep the leg anywhere exciting. And we're going to trace squares with our foot. So we're going to look along that body line to what our foot's doing. And we're going to make some squares in the air. And they're going to look a little bit like this. So I'm pushing up to that straight line, getting the alignment with one leg. So I'm driving down into this heel, left heel, right leg straight, and I'm going to go out, down, across, up to the starting position. Out, down, across, and up. So I'm taking it slightly outside the stable line, and that's the outside of the square that I'm making. And I'm going to keep making squares in one direction until we've done 30 seconds, and then we're going to change to the other side. So let's set this up. Got the bend in the knees so that our heels are down, but our forefoot is up. We're going to push up. Make sure we've got that good straight alignment. Glutes are turned on, line through the body. Let's take the right leg up, straighten it out, and let's get to work on those squares for 30. Here we go. Out, down, in, and up. Out, down, in, and up. It's quite small movements. Keep the glutes working, pushing the hips skyward to keep that flat body line and control what that outside leg's doing. 10 seconds to go. Remember, this straight leg stays straight the whole way through the square. And done. Let's put it down. Let's not put our body down. No, we're going to change legs. Let's straighten that left one out. Line it up. 2, 1, and go with the squares. Out, down, in, and up. Out, down, in, and up. And let's keep it going. Don't let the glutes turn off, particularly that right glute now should be doing a lot of work to keep your hips pushed up. Core's doing a lot of work to keep the hips flat and level. You're probably doing a better job than I am. 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, and done. Heels down, back down. And to release that back, let's put hands on knees, pull the knees up, and just gently pull them into you a little bit until you feel your lower back, which you probably had a decent curve in, get pressed into the floor. Just relax on that for a moment. And then I want you to, holding your knees nice and tightly, try and push those knees away from you a little bit, and you'll feel your lower back press really hard into the floor. Just a little bit of tension, pushing the knees into the hands and not letting them move. 3, 2, 1, and straighten it out. All right, last core one. Here we go. This is the push-up to sit through. So we're going to do, we'll get in our high plank. Hands are going to have a bit of a wider position. We're going to do one push up. And when we come back up, we're going to push a leg under and across the body and touch it with the other hand. Bring it back, plank, down to the push up, and then leg across to touch and back. Okay, so that's the action. If you need a push-up variation, because the time's going to be difficult to execute, that push-up variation can be, you can be on your knees to execute the push-up. Once you finish the push-up, back to the high plank, sit through and back, knees down, push up, back to the high plank and sit through. Okay, so we're going to have a crack at going for 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Twenty seconds left. Last 10. And done. Good job. Let's bring it back up, not too quickly. Going to avoid the low blood pressure moments there. Another time to grab a quick drink before we press into our second set. We don't need too much explaining on the way through the second set. I've talked about the execution of each exercise when we went through the first time. So we're just going to set these ones up and knock them out back to back, or as back to back as we can in the time it takes me to get my breath back between. All right. So our first one's that single leg low circles. Going to go for 60 seconds. It's 3 low circles on one side, transfer weight, 3 low circles on the other side, continuously for a minute. And let's do it. Watching your hips and shoulders. Let's keep them flat and level throughout. If you're me or you're up with me, final 3. 1, sweep and recover. 2, sweep and recover. 3, sweep and recover. And done. Coming up slowly. All right. Quick shakeout in between. Give us a moment to recover before we move on to skate jacks. So remembering with the skate jacks, we're going to try and keep our arms moving in a continuous, perfect arm swing, paying attention to our arm swing form, and our open and close movements of the legs are going to coincide with the outermost arm swing and the midpoint. Outermost and midpoint. And what our legs are doing is keeping our feet square, whether in the outside position or the inside position, and our body stays flat and level with the minimum amount of rising up and down from the hips and shoulders. This is going to be for 30 seconds continuous. The rate that you want to execute this, that's up to you. Just make sure you're executing it well. If you're going too fast and your final 10 seconds is rubbish, and you start to lose a little bit of the benefit. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1 for 30. Final 10 seconds. And good job. Coming up slowly. Got to avoid those quick movements back to standing. And let's recover the legs. Our next one is our 1 foot hip hinge. We're going to vary it this time around. So previously, the free leg was extending out behind the body as we hinged forward and going into extension and then coming back and aligning. When we do the exercise this time, the supporting leg's still going to remain static. The free leg is just going to sit on or just above the ground. Ideally, it's just off the ground, but it's going to stay still. And we're going to hinge at the hips, but without the counter movement out the back. So we're going to push our bum backwards and reach forward. Then we're going to switch this on to elevate us at the torso, keeping the front leg broken. And we're going to repeat that continually for 60 seconds on each side. So I'm going to start on my right side, broken leg, free and just off the ground on the back for 60 seconds. Here we go. Flat back in the bottom of the position and then turning the glute on to elevate, trying to keep that hinge in the knee. Need quite a big bend in that front knee to stay there all the time. So we should have to have a decent bend in the free leg to keep that foot off the ground. But we're not getting lower at the hips. We're just pressing them backward so that we keep our balance over that foot when we move down into the low position. 10 seconds to go, I think. And let's change sides. Here we go for another minute. Thirty seconds left. Smooth and controlled. Keeping a flat back all the time. Almost pulling your shoulders back to help you keep that angle. It's not the flat back we'd be using when we're skating, but it's the one we're using to focus the effort on the hip and glute right now. 5 seconds, last one. And up. Good job. Shake that one out. Sometimes the shin and the calf take a lot of the work when we vary the exercise like that. So we're going, that's 3 out of our 5 done. We're going into our step into split jump. So that's that step forward into the low split skating position, drive to switch, and then power back to the upright position, and then go again with the leg that came back last. Okay, so we're going to go continuously for 1 minute. Remember, when we drive off the ground to switch, we don't want our upper body to come up. We want to maintain the skating position, whether we're down or whether we're switching to the other side. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stepping out. Switch. Pushing back. Out. Switch. Back. Out. Switch. Back. Out. Switch. And back. And continue. You can do this hands behind your back or arms out. Depends where you want your focus to be. "15 seconds to go. Last 2. Last 1. And done. Nice job. Into that recovery mode again for a moment. Get some of the suppleness back in your legs. And we'll go straight into our final. Now, this is our 1 leg split squat. We should have an idea of, drag your chair in if you need that now. If you've already got the couch set up with something on it, back up on that. Remember, we want to find that spot to start with where we can hook up on an outstretched toe just to leave the leg there so it's held still in space, it's not taking our weight, and that when we get into the lowest position, that our knee is going to be over our toe, not too far forward and not too far back, so that we can keep pressure at the front of the arch to focus it right there. So into the position, 3, 2, 1. Let's go for a continuous 30. Ten seconds to go. Might be being a bit generous here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Let's change, match the feet so we don't have to faff around with the position too much. Hook that back foot up and let's go for 30 more. Focus all that downward pressure being created between your foot and the floor, right over where your second wheel would be in the frame. That's a reference to 4-wheel frames, of course. But we're shooting for the front of the arch or ever so slightly back from the ball of the foot. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Up we come. All right, give those a shake out. We get to go onto the floor to finish. Got our 3 back-to-back core exercises. Then we're all done for this workout. All right, onto the ground. This is our plank, knee to elbow. So I'm going to raise one leg. I'm going to take the knee to the straight arm, the opposite arm, the straight arm again. Each time in between, I'm going to extend the leg out behind me like I'm going to put it back down, but I'm not placing it on the ground. 3 repetitions with each leg before replacing it and going with the other. We're going to go continuously for 1 minute. Here we go. That's halfway. 30 seconds left. Keep that pelvic floor turned on. So we've got control of our posture. And done. Good work. All right, flipping over, doing our glute bridge squares. So onto your back, knees bent, not too much, just enough so that we can have our forefoot ever so slightly clear of the ground. Let's drive up, get it high and flat, straighten that right leg out, get that level and straight, and let's go with the squares. Out, down, in, and up for 30. Here we go. Focus on that controlled contraction of the left glute to hold it stable. Core work to keep those hips level. We're going to keep them as high and straight as we can. 3, 2, 1, done. Now gently lowering that one. We're going to switch heels, drive into the right heel and extend the left leg. Get it straight and high. And let's go. Out, down, in, and up. Out, down, in, and up. Out, down, in, and up. 15 seconds to go. Doing good. The most important thing is those alignments. The legs straight, the foot's relaxed, hips are high and level. And 3, 2, 1, and done. Heels down, back down. Let's bring the knees up. Give them a good hanging on to. Pull them into your chest just a little until you feel your lower back press into the floor. We're just going to relax there for 3, 2, 1, and then push the knees gently towards the sky and hold them back with your hands. Should feel your lower back press hard into the floor. And we're going to hold that for 3, 2, 1, and push it out. All right, flipping over one last time for our final exercise for this program. So this is our push-up to sit through. Remember the variations. If you're not going to be able to maintain 1 minute of those push-ups, you can be on your knees for the push-up execution. Once you've got back to straight arms, press yourself into high plank, execute the sit through, back to high plank, and then drop the knees for the push-up if you need to. So I'll show the variation on the last one here. I'll do the knees down version as well. Here we go for 1 minute. 3, 2, 1, off we go. So push up, back to high plank, sit through and touch. Push up, back to high plank, sit through and touch. Push up, back to high plank, sit through and touch. Push up, high plank, sit through and touch. Let's keep it going nice and smooth. Only 20 seconds to go. Final 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Great stuff. All right. Different frame of workout tonight or today, depending on where you're doing this, whether it's live with me right now or recorded later, but a different format. We're focusing more on that continuous repetition with muscle tension on the whole time. We did 5 exercises on the trot with the legs being the focus, legs and the skating, specific posture. And then we switched over to 3 core exercises, and it was 2 sets. If you follow this on the recording and you really want a bigger workout, you can of course elect to go through on a 3rd set and jump things back on the recording and go for a little bit extra. If you've got yourself to a cool down now, at least 3 minutes of really lazy jogging, keep the blood flow going up, get those metabolites out of the legs, and give yourself a really good chance of recovering by the time you're next going to do a workout. Straight off the back of that cool down jogging, I'd recommend some stretching. Spend 10, 20 minutes and use the timer on your cell phone. Everybody's got one. Just run that timer for 90 seconds at a time. Hold the stretch for 90 seconds and you'll feel things lengthening as you get deeper into that time. And just switch the stretch over every 90 seconds. You're giving yourself enough time for those stretches to be really effective for you. Thanks for joining us on another one, and we'll see you at the next time.